Welcome to the 2022 Tim Selinske United States Masters Disc Golf Championships, a PDGA major from the Quad Cities area of Illinois and Iowa. It's Grant Zellner and Jennifer Allen with coverage of FP40 Round 3 from Camden 2. Jennifer, you have been around this course multiple times. Can you remember what the conditions were like as the week unfolded here at Camden 2?
Yeah, this is a very difficult, tightly wooded course that birdies can easily be had if you perfectly hit that line. If you miss anything or get an unfortunate kick, you can get a bogey very quickly.
Your leader at 9 under par through half of the tournament owns Scoggins, putting all of her tools of the trade on display.
And we also have Sarah Hokom, her rookie FP40 year.
Her rookie FP40 year.
Yeah. So as you can see on all three of these, this is Kimberly Giannola. Forehands definitely come in handy in the woods. And so you're going to be seeing a lot of forehands. This is Stephanie Vincent out of Texas. She, like myself, does not really have that forehand game in the bag, and that makes a few of these holes a little tougher.
Hole number 1 is a par 3 at 325 feet, playing over what we've been referring to as one of 2 ravines here that run throughout most of the Camden 2 area of the park. You got to go up and over and then up again to this basket that actually has a relatively flat and unobstructed area around it.
Yeah, this is one of our nicest greens.
This is our lead card. First on the tee will be owned Scoggins.
Thank you.
Like so many holes here at Camden 2, you've got kind of an early gap, or at least an early line that you need to try to hit, and then you sort of see if you can't get the shape right.
Yeah, it is crucial to hit the gap between those first couple of trees.
Next up will be Sarah Hokom.
Sarah Hokom next, trying to do the exact same thing. Hit the gap and then see if you can shape something up toward the basket.
And the forehand definitely works well on this.
Team third, Kimberly, Giannola.
7-stroke lead from Own to Sarah, and then another 8 back to Kimberly Giannola here in third place.
And now we have Stephanie Vincent.
And Stephanie Vincent going to the backhand, the only one here in the lead card, going to the backhand on hole number 1.
Yeah, and you want something understable that you can throw in a hyzer or that's just going to fly perfectly straight across that ravine.
Good luck, ladies.
And Stephanie does a great job at that.
Fun.
Now, Own, pretty blind to the basket from there, especially when you're as tall as Own.
Yeah, some of these holes really just look beautiful when the sun starts beaming through all of the trees. These women are mostly going to just try to lay that up for their easy par on to get going on this third round.
Sarah with a fighter's chance here at birdie. Just off the base.
Yeah, and there's so many of these baskets that we just really either you have to risk the rollaway or you just don't even attempt those big bids because of the risk of a rollaway or going off of the ravines there.
Yeah, Jennifer, that's a good point that comes up a lot later in the round. The greens that look flat, they kind of only look flat by comparison to some of the more extreme ones. Even the flat-looking greens often have some slope to them, and it's enough to cause rollaways, for sure.
Right. This is probably one of the flattest greens on the entire course.
And it's not flat.
So we have 4 pars here on hole number 1, and we head over to the second hole, which is right beside this. Hole number 2 is a short 225-foot par 3. You can take the hyzer route in between these two dark trees here you see, or go over the stumps, and the basket sets just over the crest of these downed or old trees that were cut down. If you go too high or too fast, you're going to quickly go off this hill. And it's difficult to get back up.
Yes, it is. I think those, I call them monoliths. I don't know what to call them. They're in the middle. They're placed there on purpose, and I think they take the place of something that used to be there that either had to be removed or I don't know.
Yeah,
so there's a plaque on them. There's a plaque there that
I didn't ever see that.
They've got a name, and it's just kind of a neat, unique little thing here at Camden too.
You see that sometimes to prevent rollers, but I wouldn't see anyone really wanting to roll this hole. But
yeah, that'd be pretty diabolical.
It does make for a fun obstacle, though. And it still fits into the course, so it doesn't look, man-made quite so much. Right,
it doesn't look unusual. There's actually a few more formations and call it art, I guess, that are around the course. Just most of them aren't quite as prominent as this one is.
That looks like a beautiful backhand by Stephanie. A little quick, so you see that roll away, but she hit the line, and she looked like she had great speed. Sometimes when you can't see the basket, even though it's a oh, wow, huge death putt, run it back. Wow. Owen's going to make a charge early on here. Usually when she starts hot, she finishes hot.
Wow. And I can't express enough, the drop off from that angle behind the basket is significant.
Yeah, she would have went 30 long. Stephanie says, watch this. I can do that too. Beautiful putt for birdie from Stephanie. But what I was saying sometimes is you can't see the distance to the basket. And even though you know it's 220, you can very easily go long. Kim offline out of the hand. And that you could tell she kind of was aiming left of the basket, maybe a little tentative of the drop off. Sarah with the uphill birdie putt, sinks it. 3 for 4 on hole number 2. That's not bad. It's still a difficult hole, even though it's short. Kim able to save that par.
He's way out of position.
He's going to have to force it, though.
I don't think he can.
Think it's even possible?
It's in the impossible range.
The way Worlds ended last year, you couldn't have wrote that in a book.
After the initial reaction, I had to process.
If you don't even think it's a sport, watching this moment has to get you pumped up.
He's going to need the shot of the century.
I could sense something was about to happen.
On now to the third, a par 3 at 363 feet. This hole is sort of interesting because it plays as one of the tougher holes on the course, but it's sort of attackable at the same time if you can get that line right. We have seen birdies here at the third.
Yeah, the downslope on this sets up well for a big S shot. You want to hit that tight gap and then have something that's going to be stable enough to come back to and finish left. So these forehands typically work pretty well to get right over there. Down has the distance for the hole and a look back for birdie.
I feel like a forehand is sort of playing for the front edge of the circle. It's a higher percentage shot to hit the gap, but it's a lower percentage shot in terms of trying to truly park the hole. The backhand, a little more risk to hit the gap, but you can shape a shot right up into the basket.
Yeah, depending on the stability of the disc thrown with either of those shots for sure. Ooh. Stephanie choosing the inside route. I don't know if that was on purpose. I've seen the other two gaps there hit a little bit more, but that wider gap would have made her be able to work that disc a little bit more. Kim keeping it a little low, trying to stay safe. I know she's had some struggles on this hole in the previous rounds. And that's what's, good and bad when we play these courses round after round. You have that
Right.
fear, I should say. But sometimes that helps you, you're like, okay, like I feel like I can't beat this hole. I'm going to play it safe off the tee and just really try to get par, because there's a lot of these holes that, getting a 3 is like a birdie. And unfortunately, that right-hand shot, I feel like almost sets us up if you miss or get a bad kick on this hole for almost a guaranteed bogey, it feels like a lot of the times.
A little up by Sarah. I feel like I've seen Sarah Hokom throw that shot so much this year where her back is to the target and she just sort of flicks her arm out to the side and lets the disc sort of Anheuser and float its way up to the basket.
Yeah, Owen gave that a little bit of a look. Didn't have the height, but it stays right by the basket. Ooh, good bid by Kim.
She'll have to settle for the bogey here. Ooh, high but in.
Yeah, snuck it in there. No pictures. It's in.
Owen fluttering that putt right into the center of the chains as per usual.
I feel like for the most part, these baskets caught pretty well.
I agree, yeah.
You didn't see quite the spits as some of the other tournaments. And you could feel pretty confident hitting center hard and it's staying.
Yeah, it's a lot of chain to move for sure. There's sort of more chains here than on some other baskets, so it does actually, I think, help to hit pretty firm in the middle.
I agree.
I've seen some discs that were just slightly offline that other baskets might catch. This, because of how much chain you have to move, not so much.
Yeah. And we're to daunting hole number 4. This is a par 3. Yes, that's right. 500-foot hole where the first shot you pray lands somewhere right about here. And then you still, as you can see, have 150 feet around all of these very tight guardian trees. And you can see, I believe, from that angle just how steep this green is. So if you don't land that disc correctly, you're rolling circle's edge for sure.
And we've been candid about this all along. This hole should probably be a par 4 for certain. But everybody's going to play the same course. Owen.
I love,
lucky little shot there.
She gets so lucky and she deserves it. Champ's luck. But I feel like she always just throws it off this tee and sneaks it through almost every time. That's a beautiful line.
Wow.
Yeah. Sarah hits it perfectly. We'll see how the backhand goes. You can get more distance with a good backhand shot if you can clear through. Stephanie, unfortunately, catches. Hopefully she won't be all the way down in the creek.
Yeah, she actually hopes that she's short from there. And being short of the creek right there is not a bad angle, honestly.
No, you can still play the big turnover or actually throw it all the way along the creek.
That one's in the creek. To your point, maybe a chance to run it right up. No,
and you
there's
can
Stephanie.
see
She's down there too.
How deep this creek is, and this creek, ravine, whichever. There's really no water, but the ravine is very, very deep, and it makes it very difficult to get out. Stephanie able to almost make it to the top. Oh, she's going back down.
I'm not sure. That was interesting. We didn't see who threw that last one. That could have been
Kim's.
It could have been a different player, and now Stephanie just now getting to her disc. We'll be honest. We'll have to wait and kind of see how this scores. And I'm checking some stats right now just to try to get some idea of what we're seeing here.
I think that was Stephanie's, and that's as far as she made it, and that's highly likely. Like, yeah, it's so difficult to get out of there once you're down in. So Owen just playing it short. She wasn't going for any distance off the tee. This still, even here, if this was the tee box, is a very difficult shot to hit.
Needs to get lucky here. Nope.
Yeah, she went really high with that. And unfortunately, when you're hitting any of these trees high and there's any kind of slope or elevation, it unfortunately usually kicks you backwards.
So I think this confirms your theory from a moment ago regarding Stephanie, because this is Kimberly approaching her drive.
Mm-hmm. She's got a great angle at the basket. Needed to hold it out just a little bit wider left. That's, again, very difficult to do when you're so far below where you're actually playing.
So now this is Stephanie's
Beautiful
fourth.
fade. Don't hit anything. Perfect.
Good leave there. Now Sarah, this was her tee shot, so wow.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, and that
might have just hung up. Not sure.
It usually goes circle's edge. It's such a fast green.
Own with her third.
And you can see those steps up to the left that lead us to the fifth tee box. There's actually another basket placement up there.
Oh, it's crazy. I know. I saw it. I thought it was something else, and I walked over and went, yep, sure enough, there's a basket that could go here. Oh,
yeah. So
crazy.
Thank goodness they did not make us play that one. Getting help. There's also some ropes to get out of this ravine. The ravine is not OB. Any
or
point
a friend.
Or hole. Yeah.
Sarah
Play
did
it
not.
as it lies.
Sarah did not get lucky enough to get held up there on the edge, so this is her pitch up and out of the creek area.
So that would have been our par putt, even though it's still, she's going to be able to tap in what feels like a par. Stephanie going to walk away with a double bogey. Or that might be a triple.
Nope, that was a double for sure.
Double?
That was a 5. Yep. These are 4s. 4s are picking up strokes on the field. This hole played to a 1.5 strokes above par average, so a 4 is a good score here.
And that's what we all told ourselves as well. Getting the 3, I mean, it literally had to be perfect drive, perfect upshot, usually a good putt.
Mm-hmm. Things pretty much the same at the top. Owen still leading Sarah by 7. And we are at the 5th. This is a par 4, one of just 2 par 4s here at Camden 2. It's 550 feet, and this is one of only 2 holes on the entire property that incorporates an out-of-bounds line, which is beginning right here off to your right and continuing all the way down the right-hand side of this fairway to this basket placement, which is only about a pace and a half off of that OB stripe.
Yeah, and you can see there is no fence, so if you're turning one over, you got to pray that you hit one of those trees that kicks you back safe. On going with the hyzer route, you have to be very careful not to get too big of a skip there off to the left. That left side of the fairway is very difficult to get back and save par.
All the good alleyways are off to the right.
Yeah, Sarah trying to work that back perfectly right along that OB line is where you kind of want to be. She may be pinched off just a little bit with her forehand, though. She should be able to stretch out there back to the basket. That shot is just a placement shot that tries to line you in the alleyway to get another perfectly thrown shot up to the basket.
And here's Stephanie coming off that double bogey.
Yeah, she takes the inside route and it stays right there.
She
should have like a hyzer line back around to the basket.
Anywhere around that downed log is kind of your initial sort of aiming point. And if you can get over it, so much the better, like Sarah did. Ooh, and that reveals your points, Jennifer, that the left-hand side is just a no-go.
Right, and you can see Stephanie had a great drive. It just went just a hair left, so she's in the opening. She has a line, but that's still a really difficult shot to get back over there to the basket. She executed it about as well as she could. Own doing the exact same shot, so you've got to get the distance around the corner, but then not too far.
Wow,
stay.
disc.
Oh.
I think it's on the line. I'm not sure.
I think she's going to get her luck to stay safe there. Here you see Sarah with the best drive. But yeah, it just is such a difficult second shot. Even
now she'll
from
have
the
a drop
fairway.
in. She'll have a drop in for the par, though.
For par. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really had to commit to that first shot. I never went for distance on that. Ooh, that's pushing it as well. Manages to curl back in. That is safe.
Wow.
You just need a one little piece of that disc to cross that line. Ooh, good bid.
Off the chains. Here's Stephanie.
Yeah, this is for the birdie. And it's hard, just like the big cliffs, you have that OB right there by the basket. And so you don't want to get a kick off the right side. If you hit low and it kicks you just a few feet to the right, you're out of bounds. But like you said, Sarah going out right by the basket. She's going to not even put down the stool to tap in par.
Good job, Sarah.
Nice solid putt for Kim. Unfortunately, that will be a double bogey. All of these women, very strong putters.
So the fourth didn't give up a single birdie on the day. The fifth now not having given up a single birdie to anyone in the field here in round number 3.
Oh, Macbeth, what a shot inbounds. That is a smash.
It just seems like he's willing his way to the top.
Your 2022 PDGA World Champion, Paul Macbeth.
And we are on now to the 6th.
Hole 6 is a par 3, 350 feet. There's a couple of lines you can take. This inside route that the drone is flying is a tighter line, but a little more direct. There's also a forehand or a big high fading turnover shot that you can take along the outside. You do have to be careful. Hitting any tree up high on the left side will shoot you down, way down the hill into a very rough, thorny rough.
Very rough, thorny rough.
Rough. I was going to say, it's just, there's everything in, if you get off the fairway here, there is stinging nettles, there's thorns,
you're off the
there's
map.
Poison ivy. Yeah, just don't even go there.
You're off the end of the map. There be monsters.
Yeah, we try not to look at it. That's a beautiful drive by Sarah. She's just going to be a little bit pin high left.
When I played this hole, I threw the same basic shot with the same disc that I played back on the 3rd. I think the 6th and the 3rd are sort of similar in some respects.
Kinda. Basket's on the opposite side, but
right.
I could see how you would throw about the same disc.
Kind of the same shape, at least out of the hand, and then see if you can get it to finish.
Yeah, you want something if you're a backhand player with a lot of slow glide. Steph trying to punch that over there. There is no OB on this course, so anything that goes long is just long. And
yeah, just that little bit on the 5th and one little spot on the back 9 that has OB. Otherwise, you take what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Yeah, a lot of trees in the way, though, for sure. Deep breath by Sarah. She knows she's going to have to start gaining some of these strokes if she wants any kind of chance on beating Own. Settles for the par. And you can see how quickly Kim's disc hyzered back to the left. That's, again, showing you some of the sloping elevation. Any kind of downslope is really going to pull your disc down that hill.
Yeah, once again, here we are looking at a green that by comparison looks flat. It's not.
It's not. Big putt just to save par from Owen. This course is not giving up very many birdies yet. We do have a string of shorter holes coming up that, if you can execute that drive, will allow us to see some birdies.
Yeah, for sure. The back nine definitely a little bit more scoreable here at Camden too. And everybody pars here at the 6th. That's 3 holes in a row that didn't give up a single birdie to the entire field during round number 3.
Yeah, this one giving up 1 bogey to Stephanie.
Hole number 7, par 3, 250, straight up the mountain.
Yeah, you want to kind of field goal a straight shot between these 2 dead trees and over the log. You can also take the lefty or forehand shot around the left side there, as well as the hyzer shot around the right side. Those 2 shots will let you not go quite so far. The straight shot, you can fly over the top of the basket, and that is a very difficult death putt.
Wow,
if you're past the basket here on this hole. Owen going kind of right at it with the hyzer. She gets a skip off. That's probably the closest drive I've seen Owen get, and she's got a birdie on this hole every round, I think.
Soft drifting
Beautiful
putter there.
Yeah. Such a great speed on that disc just to nestle next to the basket.
Man, I wish I could forehand putters like that.
I wish I could forehand, period. There's another one. Again, I will say forehand definitely is an advantage or something you'd love to have in the woods. Stephanie's showing us the backhand, and like we kind of talked about, backhand does have the tendency, if you're flying straight, to go a little far.
So now this sort of side hill putt. Confidently done.
Yeah, Stephanie's such a great putter. And the rest of these are going to tap out. So like we said, the shorter holes are coming, and we have a star frame birdie hole here at the 7th.
Have we said that yet during our coverage?
No, I don't think we have.
I don't think so.
So these women had enough of the first 6 holes, so they put it to the 7th.
Here's the crazy thing, Jen. In the rest of the field, there were only 2 more birdies at the 7th.
Yeah, they made this hole look very easy. It's still not an easy hole. Hole 8 isn't easy as well. This is a par 3, another 500-foot par 3. You want to kind of aim toward the shorter placement, which is right about this area, kind of right in front of the trees. And then you have a second shot that gets very guarded up by the basket. Kind of a few defined ways you can get there. It's going to also need a little bit of luck to get through those last few trees and stay up by the basket. So Owen throwing out that hyzer. She wants it to come back right there. Again, you see the pole there for the short placement, which she landed by, and maybe unfortunately gets kind of behind that tree.
Sarah says no on that one. Doesn't like how it's going to finish, but it didn't drift too far down the hill there.
You know, I had a couple of shots that kind of went over to that side, and it's really not a bad placement for the second shot, angle-wise. There's kind of a small turnover shot that gives a little alley towards the basket. We'll see if Sarah can hit it, or if she's in that line. Stephanie going with the hyzer line as well. I don't honestly even know which side of the fairway played easiest. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really know. It just literally depends. This course, you have to land just in the right spot. 6 inches right or left, you may absolutely have nothing. So, like I said, I've been kind of where Sarah is. It's a tight gap, but there's a line past it.
Yeah, Sarah's showing us.
And she hit it perfectly. Ooh. That's the line I was talking about. So if you can make it between those 2 trees, it's maybe the best line back toward the basket. It still does not mean it's easy. This is kind of how I felt about that left side. If you hyzer too much, it's really difficult to find a line or a gap to get up to the basket. Own hits a lot more of it, but she's still going to have a pretty hard putt. That hits a lot better gap, and Stephanie's going to be up there for the bogey. This was Kim's drive, I believe. Nice high fading shot. Just catches that last guardian tree.
It's Owen from well outside the circle. Ooh, look at
But
that.
she saves par.
So Owen in for the par. Sarah has a drop in for par. There it is. In fact, those are the only 2 pars on the day here at the 8th. Everybody else bogey or worst.
Oh, and that was the par attempt from Kim. That was kind of a spoiler alert.
I did.
think
I spoiled it by like 3 seconds. My profound apologies.
Whoopsie. Oh, no, you were right.
Well, take it back.
Yeah,
Take it back,
I couldn't
Jennifer
remember
Allen.
if-
Take it back.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't remember if there was a shot we missed. Shots add up quickly on this course. I mean, and there's a lot you want to forget. $3 a month. That's it. Become an ace runner.
Hole number 9, a
right.
par 3 at 250 feet. This is an ace run opportunity. Heard several loud cheers throughout the course of the week here at the 9th. It's not an easy ace run by any means, and here's why. You can get to the basket. The problem is the space around the basket's pretty diabolical, especially beyond. Look at this drop off you're about to see right here.
I was going to say, if you give it that ace run, you better hope you hit and stay. If it doesn't go in the basket, you hope it stays right beside it. This is another one that, even though it's short, it's not a bad idea to kind of go a placement shot around the top of that basket, not really running for the basket.
Mm-hmm. Sarah's got a little height on this one. Needs actually it to get down.
That forehand really does play very well on this hole. Gives it a little, kind of takes some speed off of it with that S line, as you could see Sarah throw. Sure. The backhand, unless you're throwing a putter, really is a little more difficult to have the right speed. 250, not super far. But you have to, woo!
Pretty good effort there.
Beautiful line. Yeah, beautiful line. You can see Stephanie just pitching up and hoping that even still stays. You can get some ugly rolls. You can see these hills. This is up and
down.
over to the basket. Mm-hmm. That's so difficult.
Now, Stephanie, look at this.
This is Kim, but death putt.
Oh, Kim, sorry about that. Yes. Credit
such a
where
great
it's due.
drive. I wanted that to be able to stay and go in.
This Stephanie now. Death putt.
That is
well done.
Another beautifully executed death putt. These women confidently going for this basket, 100% committed. And that's what you have to do to make them. There can be no hesitation in your mind at all. Beautiful birdie by Sarah. She's going to pick a stroke up on Own on this hole.
So all the way until that point, Sarah and Own matching each other shot for shot. Finally, Sarah breaks through.
On the last hole, the front 9 already.
Well, that does it for the first half of round number 3. It's moving day at the PDGA Tim Selinske U.S. Masters Disc Golf Championships. Here's a look at how everybody is through this portion of the round. You see several players trying to make their way onto the final round lead card. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So make sure you tune right back in here on YouTube with the PDGA for continuing coverage of the 2022 Tim Selinske U.S. Masters Disc Golf Championships.